In today's video, we're going to be discussing the Raavad, also known as Raavad III, Rabbi Avraham ben Dovid. He was born in the year 1125 and he passed away in the year 1198. He was a French rabbi. He was born in Pasqueries, I believe I'm not sure how to pronounce it in the original French, in France. He learned in Lunel. He studied, which is apparently not far from that area, which was a great center of Torah. There had been Jewish center of Torah there since the destruction of the Second Temple, which is in the year 70, so about 1,000 years almost of Torah study. Eventually, he went to Montpellier for a little bit. After he was already a great rabbi in Lunel, he served on the Beit Din, on the rabbinical court. He also eventually made his way to Nimes. I'm not sure exactly where that is either, similar area, and eventually makes his way back to his hometown of Pasqueries at the age of 40. He was an extremely wealthy man. He was able to actually support many of the Torah students who lived there, so he was actually able to be self-sufficient, that he always had his yeshiva, and he always had students that he was able to support on his own. However, the downside of his wealth was that he had a very greedy governor of that area, and that greedy governor decided to hold him ransom in order to try to extract wealth out of him. And similar to many stories in that time period, he refused to be held hostage for his money, because again, if he's able to do that, if they're able to do that, then they're just going to keep doing it to other Jewish leaders. And he sat in prison for many years. At some point, a higher nobleman in the government let him free. He was also very well known for his Kabbalistic teachings. In addition to his Talmudic studies, which we'll discuss in a moment, he said that in his beis medrash, in his study hall, there was they had revelations of Elijah the prophet, as well as a Maggid, an angel from heaven that will come and teach them Torah, and he is thought to be the source of the way we understand today, the 10 sephiros, the 10 attributes of godliness that is discussed in Kabbalah. We'll talk about in the future episode his son, Rabbi Yitzchak Saginoher, who is called the father of Kabbalah and seemed to have gotten most of his tradition from his father, the Raavad. He also was a tremendous rabbi in the study of the Talmud. And he is probably most famous for his book called the Hasagos. The Hasagos was a book of a commentary on the Rambam, on Maimonides' Mishnah Torah, on his code of Jewish law. Now, the Raavad felt that the Rambam, calling himself the Mishnah Torah, and the Rambam said, all you have to do is study the written Torah, and for the oral Torah, all you need to do is study my book and you have everything. And he felt that perhaps people would actually neglect the study of the Talmud. And therefore he had a disagreement as far as that was concerned about the Rambam's style of writing down a code that encompassed the entire oral law, and claiming that it would be take precedence over the Talmud. So he did not appreciate that, but he had a tremendous amount of respect for Maimonides. However, his book actually he disagrees with Maimonides in many things, and so Hasagos are like glosses, these little glosses that he would write and say, I disagree with the Rambam in this way. He also wrote other books. He also wrote a sefer called Bali HaNefesh, which is probably one of his most famous books in his own writings, not just a commentary, and its laws relating to women's issues and the laws of marriage, etc. He also wrote teshuvos and responsa, answers to questions that were proposed to him in halacha. He also wrote commentary on the Talmud. However, most of that is not extant. However, it is quoted in the later commentary called the Shita Mikubetzes, which is literally translates as a gathering of opinions, and the Raavid's opinions are brought there as well. He also wrote a commentary on Torah's Kohanim and other midrashim, so he also wrote a commentary on that. And in general, he's considered a very important Rishon, a very important of that generation of rabbis, of the earlier medieval rabbis. So a very fascinating figure and really important in the transmission of Kabbalah, as we will talk in a future episode about his son, Rabbi Yitzchak Sagi Nahor, who is considered the father of Kabbalah and got his tradition from his father. But also in Talmudic and halachic study, the Raavad is extremely important and is quoted in Jewish law until this day. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video.